rock and roll. The New Noise Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Production Update series. My name's Hunter Porter. I'm the creator and music director of the New Noise Podcast. New Noise, the podcast saving rock and roll. We're still going. Joining me, as always, is Joey Bertolini, our writer, director, and my best friend. It's good to have you back again, bud.
Hey man, how's it going? Thanks for the as always addition to the name. It's nice when you achieve as always status as opposed to like frequent recurring guest voice for a podcast. So good to be in that rarefied air.
You have rarefied air. You have earned it, my friend.
Thank you. Third consec.
There,
A hat trick.
yeah. I know it's been a little bit since we've done one of these, but that has been because we've been super busy, and we have the largest of updates to include in this episode because we have officially wrapped our editing dialogue segment of the production. We are completely finished with every single line for every episode of the season, barring any edits we want to do post, but they're all placed in the context of the scene, so it's all laid out, and we are now on to the Foley/music section where we'll be just kind of building out the environment of each scene now and episode and placing all of our music cues.
It was great. It was a very triumphant end to, I think a longer process than any of us thought, but one where once we realized how long it was going to take, we realized that there was a reason for it, and we really wanted to dig in and make sure that the narrative throughout all these episodes was, as clean and exactly what we wanted in terms of telling the story and really giving you a sense of who these characters are. And I think it's a testament to the work of all the actors that we were able to just get that massive cache of dialogue tracking to where we could, and to their performances as well, to where we could really, dig into who they are, who these characters are as people, and that really shone through, I think, by the end of it. So.
Absolutely, yeah. The meticulousness that everybody brought into the editing room, and the passion we'd go to bat for takes because of how it related to a character's development, the scene as a whole, or where the whole trajectory of the episode and season is going. I think it just really will raise the level of the performances in each episode. And like you said, yeah, the amount of dialogue we had to pick from was so great. And having just to quickly background, the process we did was do a couple run throughs and then have Joey go through with the actors line by line. And if you wanted a different alternate version of a line delivery, we'd just ask for it and you'd pitch it to them and they'd give it to us. So we had a lot of different sort of intonation and character feel to pick from, which I think was just a great benefit.
Definitely, and like you said, all of us kind of coming at it from a different angle of, like I wrote the stuff, so it's pretty, kind of personal, and I have the idea of how it sounds in my head, and you being so kind of steeped in the material for so long, and then Rob coming at it with more of fresh ears was great because he'd sometimes, bring up something where, our noses are up against it. We're too close to realize. And he's like, is she supposed to be like this or like this? And then we, have that point, that kind of inflection point to go forward and be like, oh, yeah, we should be picking the takes where she's more upset or more vulnerable or whatever it is. And so, yeah, and then when Max joined, too, just having that fourth voice, that was, it just kind of rounded out the team. And by the end of it, we were flying. So
Definitely.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
And like you said, moving on to the Foley, and then also after that, the music. I know you're going to be mixing some stuff, and we got those the actors in the studio this weekend and laid down a bunch of tracks, and it could not have gone better, in my opinion.
No, yeah, it was amazing. It was a testament to the embarrassment of riches we have as far as talented people we've worked with and friends who are just so willing to give up their time on weekends, no less, and come in and just, in addition to being great voice actors, they're just incredibly talented singers as well, and just laid it down. To give everybody a little bit of a background, I wrote these songs, or a couple of the songs to be featured in the second season, for these fictional characters as their own. And our two actors who portrayed a couple of these characters, Carson, Adam, and Max, all came in and sang these songs in character. So it's a lot to ask of an actor just to go above and beyond, but they were all game and just performed so wonderfully. It was so much fun to just get back in the studio and jam out with them.
Completely, yeah, and interesting. Just the two kind of ends of the spectrum of Adam, who's a musician too, and just how comfortable he was coming in and really riffing on the stuff that you did and doing some kind of ridiculous. You guys will see in the season, this character is even for the show's standards, he's pretty out there. So Adam had no trouble just laying down some crazy kind of wild out there stuff, and I think a lot of it is going to be like really funny, but also like really useful for you guys in the mixing process. And Adam on that one end of being the musician, and then Carson on the other end, who's an actor first and foremost, but then kind of hiding in plain sight is this just beautiful angelic voice that when I first pitched it to her, and I was like, hey, like, I don't know if you're willing to do these vocals, and she throughout the whole thing was just kind of really nervous about doing it. And as soon as she started singing, all of us were like, you've no reason to be nervous. This is ridiculous. Like, you're already operating from so far ahead. Like, and then, like you said, with you wrote this music specifically for the characters, the fictional characters in the show, but it's real music that you're going to be hearing. Once we dove into, okay, Carson, you're playing Tina, like, what's Tina's motivation kind of behind why she wrote this song, and she got to dive into more of the character side of what you're talking about here. I feel like she really loosened up and got a lot more confident in the recording process.
Right.
And it was just, it was really cool to see, and it's going to be really fun when all that stuff comes together, and you all get to hear these tunes, which rock.
They're a lot of fun. This second season is going to be a whole lot of fun. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
On that note, I do want to pitch something to you. Instead of doing our normal, tune to take us out, something I've put out recently.
Tune to take us out is good. I love that. It's alliterative. It's great.
As is our sort of normal segment, at the end of our little updates, we'll just throw something on there to, kind of ease them out of the sode. But I thought this time I could play you a snippet of something I've been working on. And I have sort of points at the season I want to score with these demos, but I want to pitch it to you and see what your first reaction is, and see if our brains are still on the same wavelength that they've been on for the past year or so.
Yes. I don't know why they'd be deviating now.
No.
It's been so standardized all the way up until this point.
Yeah.
But nice, fresh listens. For those of you out there, I have not heard any of these before.
Yeah.
So, fresh stuff.
All right.
Excellent.
Here's the first one. I want you
Okay.
to give me your 100% completely honest opinion and location of song.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
I've never been to the drive-in before. Thank God they don't have those anymore. We could talk until the sun came up. Take you home with good night kisses enough. Pull the razor blade across my skin. It's hard to shave with tentacles. Maybe next weekend I can see you again. We're not quite lovers and we're not good friends, but the hands on the wheel of the 65 Mustang, we turn and turn.
What'd you think?
I didn't know whether you should lead that or me. That was fun stuff. It's kind of cool. It's like a little grungier, punkier kind of lo-fi. Maybe I don't know if the lo-fi thing applies or if that's just me hearing it through the Zoom. But
no, that definitely. I've definitely added some saturation stuff and like distortion for sure on like drum parts even too. And
yeah. No, it sounds great. I'm pumped when all of these kind of can get collected together into one thing and we can see just like how like the volume of stuff you've actually done. It's pretty wild. You've written a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
To me that feels like, so like I said, it being a little bit more like kind of punky, having kind of that like punk angst anger to it.
Right.
Feels like a later in the season kind of thing once things this isn't much of a spoiler, but conflict occurs throughout the season. To me, that sounds like episode 4.
Okay, yeah. Ooh,
You
yeah.
were thinking 5 or 6.
I need to show you that there's a specific punk song moment we have in 4 that I haven't showed you that I still need to. I want to redo the guitars for. But this is definitely in that vein. I was thinking like it definitely later season. We both were same page in it for that one for sure. Like 5 or 6 was my initial thought. Because I think I always picture them in one of our car scenes when they're driving together or have just driven together. It's like,
cool.
Oh, that's, it feels like a driving song.
Open Road.
Yeah. Love an open road jam.
Nothing quite like it in this world. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, let me hear the next one.
Yeah, here we go. On to the next tunage.
That one to me, now, I don't know if we're going to be on the same page here.
Ooh.
Because my initial thought was like, I kind of felt a little bit similar to how I felt after the one you played before.
Right.
Of it being like more of a later season one. But I think the more I listened to it, the more I felt like it would be an interesting outro to end the first episode of the season with. Are we on the same page?
I was thinking second half of episode 1. Crazy. Yeah, it's like one of those things where we have a lot of the angsty stuff does come later, and scoring wise too, even with the minute 30 little things I've written, interludes to kind of accompany Tina's character, Carson, who came in and sang this past weekend, who's her character's namesake. They're a little bit softer at the beginning to kind of ease everybody in and then start slamming stuff. But I think that's a good approach. Just like right away, like we'll ease you in the first half of the first episode, but I think we got to ramp it up pretty quick.
Totally, and especially from your character's end, it's not like there's not angst throughout.
No,
so
yeah,
you can pretty much have it be a bed of angst.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Nice. Did we say absolutely at the same time? Well, being that we're working on this together, I'm very glad that you like both of those.
And that we were on the same page.
I can see them being placed somewhere
Yeah, thank God I wasn't like, one is okay and one is pretty bad. So maybe back to the drawing board. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in and listening all the way up until now. We really appreciate the support. You can find us on social media, whatever your platform of choice is, Twitter, Instagram. We will be back soon with another production update, I'm sure. And season 2 of New Noise, the podcast Saving Rock and Roll, will be out on a podcast app closest to you very, very soon.
Much love, much preach, New Noise.
Much preach, much preach. Peace.
On abandoned roads, just abandoned hope is the only road. Hey, stand back, you're listening. I'm a young man right for the christening. Tender age, such a tender age. Tender age never turns the page.
We are brought to you today by Boy in the Bear Coffee. Boy in the Bear, located on La Tijera and 74th in my neighborhood of Westchester, Los Angeles, right across the street from a Wendy's. Very, 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 very close to both the south and north 405 entrance on La Tijera Boulevard. It is tasty. The beans, I believe, are responsibly sourced, but please do not quote me on that because I don't know. And maybe this should be cut out because now I'm scared. Boy in the Bear. If you're not a boy, you're a bear.
Oh, man. They get better each time, I swear.
They get stupider for sure.